the Gorn have been one of the most iconic yet underused species in Star Trek's long history. Starting in the original series with a man in a rubber suit, they never really got much screen time until the turn of the century, when we started to get slender CGI Gorn, movie budget men in rubber suits, animated versions, and now with Strange New Worlds, a mixture of puppetry and CGI. But the biggest question fans have been asking since this new appearance of the Gorn is, are they the real Gorn? Well, let's take a look at what we know and what might be the answer to this question. Be aware, there will be spoilers ahead for the latest season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. You have been warned. Hey everyone, my name is Captain Jack and welcome to Trek Central. Before we warp into this video, if you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Star Trek universe. Okay, hit it. Let's start off with an understanding of who the Gorn actually are. In Star Trek, the Gorn are a cold-blooded species that resemble Earth reptilians. They are, for the most part, bipedal and more sentient than reptiles found on Earth, not mentioning the Voth. They had achieved warp capability by at least the 23rd century, so were very intelligent. This intelligence not only translated to their technology, which in the 23rd century was on par with Federation technology, but their tactics and strategies were intelligent as well, employing traps for would-be prey. Gorn adults were extremely durable, as they could withstand being hit by a giant boulder as well as some double punches from a human. However, they were not durable enough to be protected against a cannon made of bamboo that fired diamonds. Yes, I am being serious there. The Gorn were first encountered officially by the Federation in 2267. The Gorn would attack the Federation colony of Cestus III, as they saw it as an invasion due to believing Cestus was part of their territory. They wouldn't only attack this colony, but through false pretenses to lure the USS Enterprise to the colony to ambush its crew. They would fake a communication to bring Captain Kirk and an away party to the planet where they'd be attacked via mortar. This would not work, as the Enterprise would detect the Gorn starship, which had an unknown configuration, and would pursue the vessel into an unexplored region of space. There, both vessels would be immobilized by the Metrons, who would transport each captain to the planet's surface to fight to the death. Kirk would ultimately defeat the Gorn, but would show mercy to his enemy, and the Metrons would return both captains to their respective ships. The Gorn would be later mentioned in the Prime Universe, such as the Gorn serving on the ruling council on the pocket dimension Elysia in the late 23rd century. Gorn and Federation relations would get better, with some Gorn residing on Federation Starbase 25 in 2380, which would include a Gorn chef who operated a restaurant, Mr. Craterleg. Now, we've also seen the Gorn in the Mirror Universe, and again, they're slightly different from the Gorn we meet in the original series. This Gorn is much slimmer and more athletic than the hulking brute Kirk faced in the arena. This Gorn was called Slar, and was working for the Mirror Folian Assembly in 2155, in charge of slave workers of what was stolen USS Defiant from the Prime Universe. He would intentionally sabotage a ship when it was boarded by Terrans under the command of Jonathan Archer, and he would fight Archer but ultimately would be killed. This isn't the only weird Gorn we've gotten in Trek though, so keep that in mind. In the first Kelvinverse movie, Star Trek 2009, there was a Gorn in the Cut Rua Penthe prison scenes, where Nero, the big bad and brooding Romulan, was imprisoned before his escape. Don Lanning, the special effects creature designer and sculptor, wanted to do a redesign of the Gorn, because he had recently made realistic designs for a TV series and wanted to do something more fantastical in style. The Gorn they made kept its reptilian look to it, but had less of a pronounced snout and more tusks, as well as bony protrusions on the top of its head, as you can see on the screen. Not only did they revisit and redesign the Gorn for this scene, but also the M113 creature, also known as the Salt Vampire. As with the Gorn, this was also cut from the film. Though I am somewhat glad they didn't use the Salt Vampire, because that thing generally is terrifying and I'm definitely having nightmares after this video. So all of you. This however wasn't the last time a Gorn appeared in the Kelvin timeline, with a somewhat canonical but not really Star Trek 2013 video game. Now in this game, Kirk and crew deal with the Gorn of the Gorn Armada, an extragalactic empire of the Gorn, different from the Gorn hegemony we are used to. Interestingly enough, the Gorn Armada is similar to the beta canon concept of the Gorn, with multiple species under the name of the Gorn. Within the Gorn Armada, there are 15 varieties of male and female Gorn ranging in size, intelligence and colour. They are depicted as originating from another galaxy, which they have conquered by the time they reach the Milky Way galaxy via a wormhole created by a terraforming device on New Vulcan. Interestingly enough, the wormhole looks like the coronal mass ejections from a star, which may be relevant later. These Gorn utilize a mind-controlling venom to turn enemies on each other, and also practice bioenhancement and genetically engineered their Gorn for different tasks. There is some connectivity within Star Trek Into Darkness, with these Gorn being viviparous, bringing forth live young which they've developed inside the body of the parent, and McCoy having to deliver Gorn babies from a pregnant Gorn. This will be something to note later.
Sweetheart, I once performed an emergency C-section on a pregnant Gorn. Octuplets. Let me tell you, those little bastards bite. I think I can work some magic on your missile.
Dr. McCoy.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds will then introduce a new flavour of Gorn, one much more akin to the xenomorphs from the Alien franchise. These Gorn seem to move the first encounter between humans and the Gorn to around the 2230s or the 2240s. A colony ship called the SS Puget Sound was captured by the Gorn, with its inhabitants being relocated to a Gorn nursery planet. On the ship would be La'an Noonien Singh and her family, including her brother Manu, her mother Sa'an, and her farmer Ronu. On this Gorn nursery planet, the Gorn would eat some of the colonists alive, and would use other colonists and captives as breeding sacks for their young, injecting them with parasitic eggs to reproduce. This is the new information that Strange New Worlds offers. These Gorn at least reproduce through infecting humanoid hosts with parasitic eggs. These eggs have different maturation cycles depending on a host, with Orions taking months whereas humans only take days. When ready, the hatchlings, or younglings, would rip away violently from the body of their host. The Gorn young would make sure not to eat those who were infected, though would fight with other young in a survival of the fittest sense. However, in some situations, the young would work together, seemingly if there were adult Gorn around. La'an would be the last survivor of a Puget Sound, and in some form of ritual would be spared and placed in a life raft to be abandoned in space and not expected to survive. La'an, however, would be rescued by Ensign Una Chin Riley aboard the USS Martin Luther King Jr. This would not be the only unconfirmed and unofficial meeting between the Gorn hegemony and the United Federation of Planets. In 2259, the Federation colony of Fimbus 3 was attacked by the Gorn. They would spare a handful of colonists for use as bait, waiting for a rescue ship to come to ambush it. The USS Enterprise would be dispatched to Fimbus 3 to actually bring them an AP-350 air processor, but would come to the aid of a colonist ship. They would be ambushed by the Gorn ships upon meeting and connecting with the transport. The Enterprise would lose their Gorn ambushes in the system's black hole and gas being sucked into the nearby brown dwarf. Another incident with the Gorn would be on Valtor Beta 5, with a downed Sombra-class USS Peregrine. Peregrine, under the command of Captain Alice Gavin, would rescue 3 castaways. 2 of these would be infected with parasitic Gorn eggs, with one of these castaways even blowing himself up in engineering to kill himself along with the Gorn eggs. You think maybe he could have done that somewhere else on the ship, not next to the warp core? This would force the Peregrine to crash land on the planet Valio Beta 5. The crash ship would be investigated by the USS Enterprise, who would lose multiple crew members to the newly hatched Gorn, including Lieutenant Duke, Cadet Cheer, and Chief Engineer Hemmer. Later in 2259, a Gorn attack ship would be identified near the Galotendre system, causing Admiral Rob April to fear that a war between the Federation and the Gorn was coming. Season 2 of Strange New Worlds would end with the USS Cayuga, a Constitution-class heavy starship under the command of Captain Marie Patel, which would be in orbit of a newly established colony, Parnassus Beta. This colony would be attacked by the Gorn, seemingly in a hunting pattern due to the coronal mass ejection of a nearby star triggering this instinct. They would set up an interference field emitter, a massive tower deployed on planets to secure them for hunting and breeding. We would also get our first look at an adult Gorn in Strange New Worlds, in an EVA suit mind you, which would look more akin to the CGI Slender Gorn from Star Trek Enterprise, but looking much more realistic, in part because it was an actual suit of a stunt performer wearing. This adult Gorn would be trying to gain access to the command systems of the USS Cayuga. Either way, the Gorn in this EVA suit does actually look like an elite from Halo. If you agree, let me know in the comments. So now that we're caught up with the Gorn, their history, and the different iterations we have, we need to answer the question: are they the real Gorn? Well, from the latest episode of Strange New Worlds, the intention is definitely that they are the real Gorn. The naming of their government being the Gorn hegemony, even though it's not been mentioned before, is what we unofficially knew the Gorn as. Therefore, calling them the hegemony signals to us that this is the real Gorn. However, there are some differences that need to be addressed between the Gorn of Strange New Worlds and the original series. The Gorn in Strange New Worlds seem to act on instinct, but are still creatures with intelligence. They have starships, EVA suits, and massive towers that can block signals. However, they seem to be driven by their instincts and have a relationship with light, attacking the colony out of primal hunger compared to in the original series where they attacked a colony, viewing it as an invasion force. The look of the adult Gorn does look more akin to the Enterprise Gorn. As previously stated, it is not like the TOS Gorn. We can either take this as the Gorn are meant to look like, or we can take it there are multiple types of Gorn, which Beta Canon and the Kelvin game say so. One thing I do want to mention, which is somewhat interesting, is the coronal mass ejection signaling the Gorn mentioned in the latest Gorn episode in Strange New World's second season finale. Scotty mentions the Gorn appeared just when the CME triggered. Sam Kirk believes this to be like Locutus, triggering an instinct in the Gorn to feed and breed, but it could be something more nefarious. It is highly unlikely to be the case, but the wormholes in which the extragalactic Gorn Armada appeared in the 2013 Kelvin game look exactly like the coronal mass ejections. Molten red threads streaking through the sky. This is a single piece of evidence saying these Gorn could also be extragalactic in origin, and a different type of Gorn we see in the original series. However, I highly doubt this to be the case, but it is an interesting comparison and an interesting theory. On the topic of the Kelvin Gorn, they are Verapulous, and the Strange New Worlds Gorn are more oviparous, using eggs outside the mother. We can see the Gorn modify themselves to be Verapulous, or they might have already genetically modified themselves to reproduce via parasitic eggs. With Strange New Worlds' relationships with genetic engineering, they could definitely be a way to explain this incontinuity, and make a shared thread through the Strange New Worlds series. We could see these Gorn transform into the Gorn we are used to, perhaps from some Federation influence, but not only from themselves, but their ships as well. From a ship standpoint, the Gorn we see in the original series and later in Star Trek Prodigy is of a new variant, massively different from what we see of the Gorn ships in Strange New Worlds. Considering the Gorn were trying to access the Cayuga systems, we could assume they gained some technical information which may lead to them creating new starships. The TOS-style Gorn ships do have a Starfleet-style warp nacelles, which could be explained in the way they've stolen this from the Cayuga's databanks. They were not noticed as Gorn in the original series because their ship style had completely changed. The whole First Contact in the original series may have to just be retconned at this stage, but we will have to at least wait until this current Parnassus beta situation is resolved in Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3. So, to answer the question, are they the real Gorn? We have to say so far, the answer is yes, they are the real Gorn. There are still some canon inconsistencies between these Gorn and the Gorn we know, but that story may have just not been told yet. It could be a new subset of the Gorn, like Beta Canon and the Kelvin game. They could change from Strange New Worlds Gorn to the original series Gorn, or even something entirely else. But the whole intent so far is that yes, these are indeed real Gorn, so far at least. But what do you think about the Gorn in Star Trek Strange New Worlds and in general? Let us know in the comments below, because as always, if you're talking about Trek, then we would love to hear about it. If you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from your team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends. Goodbye.